is the Emotion Connection, where you'll experience health through feeling. Explore emotion from a different perspective and learn to use your emotions to improve your day to day life. Introducing your host, speaker, author, mentor, and creator of emotional strength, Sharon Faye. Sharon heads up a successful business empowering leaders to bring about organizational development and cultural change. Get your senses ready as we delve into the many facets of emotion together. Over to Sharon.
Hello, I'm Sharon Faye. Emotion is my thing. Today's podcast is about understanding your expectations. And the structure for today's podcast is, what are expectations? What are your expectations? How do you identify your expectations? And are your expectations getting in your way? Expectations are usually unconscious, and people are shocked or hurt or surprised when their expectations are not met. But it's interesting that we have unmet expectations because no one has spoken about expectations. They just expect the other person to know automatically what is expected. And it's pretty unfair to expect something without discussing it first. The best thing for people to do is share what they expect from their relationship. Although these discussions don't happen often enough, maybe people feel awkward sharing such things, or perhaps people don't know what their expectations are. You might hear your friend say, "If he loved me, he would know what I need." That's an unrealistic expectation. The executive may expect his or her partner to support a very demanding career without talking about it. Executives may not speak about expectations, and when they're dealing with the board of directors, no one knows each other's expectations. Perhaps executives expect to get away with underperforming at work, so it suits them to remain elusive. And what about the expectations you have of yourself? Do you unconsciously expect that you can be everything to everybody, and then you burn out? From personal experience, a lot of mothers expect that they need to be available 24/7 for their children and wonder why they feel exhausted. Some men expect themselves to be the provider of financial stability for their family and wonder why they feel unfulfilled in life. So this discussion about expectations raises some interesting insights that you can have for yourself. Because what are your expectations? You have expectations without knowing about them. What are your expectations in your family? Are your family expectations that the man goes to work and the woman stays at home to look after the kids? What is that experience like? Do you expect your partner to look after you? Do you expect your children to act a certain way to make you feel proud? Do you expect your children to do well in school and go on to university? These are all expectations that we may or may not know about. In an intimate relationship, do you expect that the man will pay for dinner or buy flowers and spend money on you without reciprocating? In the workplace, Are there expectations that your peers must be team players? Otherwise, what happens to them? Does the rest of the team ostracise them or guilt trip them into compliance? In relationships with your bosses, do you expect them to take care of your feelings? If so, what happens if they don't? Do you expect our world to be fair and just? Do you expect people to follow the rules? Do you expect that everyone should pack the dishwasher the same way? Do you expect that the tea towel will be hung a certain way in a certain place in the kitchen? What do you feel if the tea towel is out of place? Do you expect that you will have enough money to pay the bills or to buy lovely things even though you don't take an interest in the financial situation in the home? Do you expect that you will always land on your feet no matter what? The first step in identifying your unconscious expectations is to notice what you feel when the tea towel is hung in the wrong place or the toothpaste is squeezed the wrong way. If you feel angry or irritated that the tea towel was hung in the wrong place, it indicates that you had an expectation that wasn't met. This is one of the reasons that I talk about being in your body and feeling emotion. It's such an essential experience, and you can use it as a useful guide to communicate the everyday things that annoy you. Your feelings are very helpful in this way because you wouldn't have that insight if it wasn't for your feeling. You may find yourself becoming irritated when your friend asks too many questions. Your friend knows that questions irritate you, but asks them anyway. So annoying. Your expectation is that you're looking forward to enjoying time with your friend, and this expectation is not met. Then you blame your friend for annoying you. When you want to change and you work hard on yourself to change in the way that makes sense to you, your family expect that you will be a certain way when you go and visit and find that you've changed. Your family will tell you they want the old you back, even if the old you was dysfunctional. They have an expectation that you will behave the way you always have. And when their expectations are not met, whoa, they sometimes act out. They may feel confused or scared that they are losing you. Perhaps you are moving forward without them. Are your expectations getting in your way? As a mother, do you expect that your children will feel grateful to you for everything you've done for them? And what happens if they don't show gratitude, or they just expect that you will do everything for them because that's your job? How do you feel? Are your expectations getting in the way of your relationship with your children? What's another way of handling this scenario? The short answer is to take responsibility for your own expectations. It is not the other person's fault that your expectations are not met. They are your expectations, not anyone else's. The first thing to do is acknowledge that you have expectations. because most of the time you hear people say, "Oh, I don't have any expectations. I just take whatever." That's not actually true, so you just need to be honest with yourself. You may be curious about how these expectations came to be. Nevertheless, you can do your job as a parent and teach your children about gratitude without expecting they will show gratitude towards you. The idea is when they learn the gratitude lesson, it will be applied to you and others without your expectation. As a boss with direct reports, do you expect your staff to work as hard as you? Will you be very disappointed when you realise that they don't have the work ethic that was drummed into you? It is less about drumming a work ethic into your staff and more about speaking to them about your vision and values and having them come on board with the direction that you envisage for your company. I did that today. I took my staff out to lunch and it was such a connected experience, and I was very aware if I had any expectations of any of them, and I was sharing my vision for my company, my vision in the world. And when you acknowledge your staff that they're on the right track or show some initiative, you will acknowledge small steps rather than wait for them to demonstrate big steps, because it's the small things that matter. And you acknowledge along the way rather than wait until you reach your destination. So I'm a big fan of acknowledgement, and a lot of people don't know how to acknowledge. They get confused between acknowledgement and compliments. So I'm not talking about compliments, I'm talking about acknowledgement. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should eliminate expectations altogether. In performance type roles, executives will set expectations to guide employees to high performance. That's what we do as executives. Once identified, it's best to own your expectations and acknowledge them to yourself first and then to others. This way, you're taking responsibility for your expectations. Remember, I'm referring to responsibility as the ability to respond. The next time you feel irritated, annoyed, or disappointed with a person, you probably have an unmet expectation. Identify what your expectation is and discuss it with the person, and ask this person what their expectations are of you in this situation. You can both discuss unrealistic expectations and give each other insight into each other, which leads to improved relationships. So to recap, what are expectations? Some expectations are conscious and some are not. But we just want to start to become aware of the expectations we have of ourselves and of each other. And then identifying your own expectations. So relationships are a very big part of expectations. You have expectations of each other, whether you're in an intimate relationship, whether you're in a relationship with your peers at work, whether it's your boss, whether it's your board of directors. Identifying your expectations is going to improve your communication dramatically. And how do you identify your expectations? Well, the first thing to do is to be in your body and be aware that you have expectations, and your feeling emotion will help you and guide you to identifying your expectations. Because when you feel disappointed and you feel that in your body, then you know immediately that you've got an unmet expectation here. And asking yourself, are your expectations getting in your way? Now, we know they're getting in our way because it doesn't work out the way we expected, or the other person's response has been less than desired. So you can always tell when your expectations are getting in your way because it doesn't turn out the way you thought it would. So the topic of expectations is a really good one to open up discussion at home, at work, in your sporting groups, with your children, and that will really help everyone connect and start to have quality conversations rather than just gossip or how was your day. So your homework this week is to notice the little things. Now, I'm only focusing on little things because the big things don't come around every day, but we want to notice the little things that people do or say where you feel irritated, annoyed, or disappointed. You may feel hurt in the moment when your loved one says something in a matter-of-fact tone. See if you can realise in the moment that you have an unrealistic or an unmet expectation. You can acknowledge this insight within yourself, or you may feel like it would be beneficial to share it. If you don't feel comfortable sharing it, then don't. This is an exercise for your own insight. And once again, I'd love to hear your experience of your homework. So the next podcast is about parenting with emotional strength. That's something that a lot of you have called out for and are very interested in. So tune in to Parenting with Emotional Strength. See you next time.
Well, that's a wrap. The Emotion Connection is produced by Sharon Faye and her team at sharonfaye.com. With a vision to help people feel, this is just one way we're spreading the word. Sharon Faye is an engaging speaker with a compelling message. Book her for your next conference to ensure a unique and memorable experience for your audience. We encourage you to engage with Sharon through the podcast. You can also email Sharon directly, sharon@sharonfaye.com. We'd love to hear from you. The Emotion Connection, Season 2, hosted by Sharon Faye. Visit sharonfaye.com to learn more or book Sharon for your next event. See you next time.